The first restaurant we went to was called Asian Express. It was an Asian themed restaurant with all kinds of different foods in it from different Asian countries, mostly Japan and China. So we all got lo mein noodles in our food instead of a rice dish. And the lo mein noodles, while they were good, didn't seem very traditional lo mein noodles. We got sweet and sour chicken, General Tso's chicken, beef and broccoli, stuff like that. And while this was all tasty and usually for under $3, it wasn't very traditional Chinese food. One thing I was worried about was the lack of Chinese people patronizing the store, which is always a sign for when you're trying to buy authentic Chinese food.
We went to Sweet Hut for one of our restaurant experiences, and it is an Asian-style bakery. There is a section of it that is set up like a Japanese-style bakery, and then the other part of the store was set up like a sandwich shop. Some of the treats were authentic, like the Chinese mooncake, which had a hard-boiled egg inside the center of it, which if you're not used to it as an American person, it's kind of disturbing to bite into something and have a hard-boiled egg. So it's very authentic Chinese. It doesn't cater so well to the American palate. And then there are items that catered exclusively to the American palate, like a bacon donut. A bacon donut is probably found nowhere in authentic Chinese restaurants. There are also some other items, like the matcha cake roll, that were definitely a fusion of all sorts of countries, like American snack foods and Japanese matcha, all combined into a dessert named after a European country. So Sweet Hut had a whole variety of different countries and influences, all at a somewhat presentable to American front.
So the most interesting thing to me about the differences in the restaurants was how the Tasty China restaurant, you come in, you sit down, you take a while. Take your time, you eat, it's a family style, you get a whole platter to share with your family. Whereas you go to the Asian Express and you get individual portions for yourself, and the person next to you orders their food, and the person after that orders their food. You don't get to sit down and all eat together. This is the same as in the Sweet Hut restaurant, where you go in and you get your own pastries, your own drink, this, that, and the next thing, which I'm not sure if the Chinese do it that way or not. It's just an interesting difference between at least the two restaurants, and then the bakery kind of took the American style with get your own food.
The biggest differences I saw between Asian Express and Tasty China were Tasty China had more authentic flavors. They had a Chinese spice called ma that is a numbing hot spice, and it's very, very hot and it's very intense. They didn't have it to an extreme level like they do in China, but it is still very true to the actual Chinese way of cooking. You eat family style. They bring out a bowl of rice, and they put the bowl of rice on the table, and then they put all the dishes out, and everyone takes and gets what they want. You use your chopsticks, and you take your plate, and you get some rice, you get some noodles, you get some spicy beef, the Szechuan beef that was in one of the photos. You get all of that, and you can just kind of take a little bit of beef, a little bit of rice, and eat it, or you can take rice and eat it, or you can kind of mix stuff together as you want, which is a very authentic Chinese way of cooking. Compared to Asian Express, where you had your own food in a to-go container, a phone to-go container and you ate your own food that you ordered. And all the food tasted almost the same. It was all very sweet. Not a lot of spice, not a lot of depth of flavor besides just spices. Whereas the Chinese food had lots of spices, lots of different ingredients in it, and really had a more rounded meal altogether as compared to the Asian Express. So it's just all sweet all the time.
The most notable difference between the Asian Express and Sweet Hut versus the Tasty China was the fusion of different Asian styles. While Asian Express and Sweet Hut are both Asian foods, Tasty China is explicitly Chinese. The different mix of foods and countries is an American concept, the whole conglomeration of Asian flavors for an American palate based off a possibly European traditional dish. Whereas in Tasty China, these are all authentically delivered, authentically prepared Chinese foods that do not have any Japanese or European influence. This was noticed in Asian Express, whereas there's a Japanese and a Chinese section, and Sweet Hut, which had Japanese, Chinese, and Vietnamese all together.
So my favorite comparison between the three different restaurants was the patronage of the restaurants. So you went into Tasty China, and it's all Chinese people who are coming in because it's what they expect to eat. Whereas you go to Asian Express, and it's a lot of KSU students. A lot of people who are coming in because it's $3 for a whole bunch of food, and it's all sweet flavored. You know, it's all, like I said, sweet and more American flavored. And then if you go to Sweet Hut, you get a whole difference of a bunch of different Asian cultures, definitely different places in Asia that are all coming together to eat Chinese food, Vietnamese food, Korean food, Japanese food, and it's all kind of fused together right there.